Postgame show is presented by Tri-State Audi. Visit your Tri-State area Audi dealer today. The Knicks close out 2024 in style, blowing out the Wizards here in the nation's capital, 126-106. Hi, everyone. I'm Bill Pidto. Great to have you with us. So, unlike Saturday night when it was a close first half and the Knicks needed overtime to prevail over the Wizards, tonight the Knicks were dominant in the second half. They led the game by only 2 after the first 2 quarters of play, but then blew out Washington in the second half to come away with a 20-point win. So you put all the good things together. The Knicks have won 8 in a row. They've won 8 in a row on the road. That ties for the second best run on the road in franchise history. They're 18-4 in their last 22. And if you look at the standings, they're now only a half game behind idle Boston for the second spot in the Eastern Conference. And if you want to take 2024 from beginning to end, not counting the playoffs, 83 games for the Knicks, and they go 56-27 in calendar year 2024. Their next game will be on New Year's night against Utah at home. So here's your game summary with the Knicks shooting 46% from the floor. In the first quarter, they went only 1 of 10 from downtown. Got better in that category as the game went on. Free throw shooting again, an advantage for the Knicks. They won the rebounding battle, outscored off the bench, but that was irrelevant because the Knicks starting 5 tonight was dominant, led by the triple-double from Josh Hart, 23, 15, and 10. For more now, let's go to Mike and Alan, guys.
All right, Billy, you can't emphasize enough a 13-6 road record. Granted, again, the schedule hasn't been that difficult, especially, 2 games against Washington and Orlando team. It doesn't matter in terms of, especially on the road. That makes such a difference to have that type of record on the road.
You want to stack as many wins as you can, and that's what you have to do. You take what the schedule certainly gives you, and that's what the Knicks do. But, what you love is just their approach. It's something that Tom Thibodeau talked about before this game as well, is that you're approaching these games not saying, we don't have to try hard in this game. We're going to beat this team if we just roll the balls out. And that's not the truth in the NBA. And it's what Josh Hart said to Bill Pidto at the end. It takes us a while to wake up, but we always do. And in that second half, they certainly did, and they held the Wizards to 18 points in that fourth quarter. They did what they had to do to get the win, and that's all you care about at this point of the season.
Josh Hart, when he was first acquired by the Knicks, there was so much talk about all the intangibles, and he brings all those intangibles every night. But it's so much more than intangibles. It's real-life production in every category. He's gone up from last year. His spirit on this team is so invaluable.
His impact on any part of the game that you need him to impact. That's what you love about him, the willingness to say, against San Antonio, I had to dive for loose balls to save the game. In the game, even on Saturday night, I had to get some rebounds late to get us going. In this game, I had to start scoring in the second quarter, knock down a couple of threes, just get the lid off the rim and get us moving. And then later on, he became more of the willing passer. And that's, of course, something he's always been. That's how you get triple-doubles, because you do a little bit of everything. And that's exactly what he brings to this team, and it's what he brought tonight.
And again, when the Knicks were struggling a little bit in that second quarter, he changed the tone of the game, and it made an enormous difference for how the Knicks were able to get some kind of momentum. Meanwhile, you look at Karl Anthony Towns, and the other night he had, I think it was 30 and 14. Tonight he has 32 and 13, and he's not the headliner. That shows you how good he has become, and it's almost expectations of what you're going to get from him every night.
It is amazing that he's the second part of the story, because on Saturday night he had 30, and the part of the story was Jalen Brunson's 55. Tonight it's Josh Hart's triple-double, but then you just say, oh, by the way, Karl Anthony Towns just put up another epic performance, and it's really what he does is a little bit of everything. I love the fact that we saw stuff like this, where he got out on the break and got himself going, moving, just dunking the basketball, not as much reliant on the three-point shot as he was. He took the game into the paint, and he let the youngster know this is how you have to do it at the NBA level. Towns remembers what it's like to be the young guy, and he took it out on the young guy in Alex Sarr in this game and over this weekend with a couple of 30-point performances.
We've talked about surprises that we've seen from him when you see him night in, night out. I don't know if it's a surprise, but he's on the offensive end. He loves the contact. Yep. It almost fires him up.
Yeah, and as we mentioned, too, I think he loves the matchups. He's going up against maybe a young player, or again, I mentioned Christmas Day, Wembanyama. He was up for that one. He got into foul trouble, but throughout that game, he was up for it. He's okay, let's see what you got, kid. Even when it's somebody like Mo Wagner who's bumping him and banging him and just trying to get him going, he likes that too. Let me take you down in the paint. You want to see how it is to trade paint? Let's do it on the block. That's, again, what we're learning about Karl-Anthony Towns. And in this game, as I mentioned, yes, okay, so he didn't make a three in this game. He only took three. He took it into the paint, took it into the post. The skinny 19-year-old got a lesson tonight.
Another great team win for the Knicks, and doing it on the road once again as we go to our teammate, the wonderful Bill Pidto.
Thank you, Mike. I really appreciate it. When Mike Breen gives you kind words like that, you got to take it and run with it, because often that is not the case. Of course, all in fun. Meantime, Cat now has 11 games this year with at least 30. Last year, all year, he had only 5. And you guys were talking about Josh Hart in that second quarter. 17 second quarter points for Hart. That is tied for the most he's ever scored in a single quarter. Knicks prevailed by 20. Post-game comments from Tom Thibodeau, the coach, coming up.
The Knicks Postgame Show is presented by Audi. Visit your Tri-State Audi dealer today.
We continue on the Tri-State Audi Knicks postgame show as the Knicks outscore the Wizards by 18 in the second half and win it by 20. Tom Thibodeau's postgame comments presented by Chase.
Yeah, I thought a well-balanced attack. I thought Josh was unbelievable the whole game. And then Cat second half was dominant, but we got good performances from a lot of people. And I thought OG and McHale's defense, Jalen read the game beautifully. So it was good. The Precious came in, gave us good minutes, and then Deuce in the second half was terrific.
McHale, the last, I don't know what you want to call it, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever it's been, specifically when he's guarding actions where screens come, he just seems like he's been so much more comfortable getting out in front of the screen, evading the screen, whatever else.
Yeah,
Like
it's coming from like everybody working together. That's why I thought there was a lot of stuff said early in the year, and many of those plays weren't really his responsibility. Now everyone shares in that responsibility. Everyone has to understand what their job is and what they have to do, but it has to be done together. And when we do that, the defense is terrific.
So can you expand upon that a little bit? What is
well, it depends. Well, there's so many different things that happen, and it starts with individual fundamental defense, but then how you guard the ball, how where you're directing it, where you're pointing it, and then the 4 other guys where they are behind the play are critical, and everyone's got to be moving and reading the ball at the same time and communicating what's going on. And so I think once we got settled in a little bit, it's getting better. We still got a lot that we have to work on. There's a lot of things that we have to get better at.
Were you always as comfortable with Josh?
As the coach said pregame, can never let complacency set in. Whatever the message has been, the Knicks are buying it. And as Josh Hart told me after the game, they may not be dominating these games for a full 48 minutes, but they are playing their best when these games are on the line. And the Knicks close out 2024 in style. They're going to bring in 2025 on New Year's night at home against Utah. We'll continue on the postgame show right after this. We continue on the Tri-State Audi Knicks postgame show as the Knicks beat the Wizards tonight, completing a sweep of the 2 games here in the nation's capital. Final count tonight, 126-106. Bill Pidto back on the court as we continue here, and let's now take a look at some other scores from around the NBA. Our Audi MSG 150 final, and we have the Bulls in overtime beating the Hornets 115-108. The Bulls came in having lost 3 out of 4. How about this? The Pelicans leading the Clippers 82-74. The Pelicans at 5-27, worst record in the league. And in the second quarter right now, Denver leads Utah by 2. As we take a look at our upcoming schedule, the Jazz will kick off January in the new year, home game Wednesday. And all told, in the month of January, the Knicks play 15 games. 11 will be at home. After the road trip on Friday at OKC and Saturday at Chicago, the Knicks will have 13 games left in the month. 11 will be at home, and the 2 away games are Philadelphia and the Nets. So the Knicks have no travel issues after next weekend. Back with more after this.
The Knicks postgame show is presented by Audi. Visit your Tri-State Audi dealer today.
Welcome back, everyone, as the Knicks close out their 2024 schedule with a win here in the nation's capital over the Wizards, 126-106. Knicks finish up 2024 with an 8-game winning streak and 18 wins in their last 22 games. It was only a 2-point lead for the Knicks at the half, but then they outscored the Wizards by 18 in the second half to win it by 20. Josh Hart, third triple-double of the season. He had 17 points in the second quarter, had a big game. The Knicks starting five dominant, and they beat the Wizards tonight by 20. Thanks so much for watching. Happy New Year, everybody. We'll see you on Wednesday night. Knicks and the Jazz, 7 o'clock pregame. Want more than just a postgame show? Link your eligible TV subscription to stream Knicks games free or subscribe today in the Gotham Sports app. Just go to gothamsports.tv to learn more.